All right. We got an off season to get to here. We do indeed. We have an off season to get to. I agree. Ottinger was a beast last series. I mean, again, it's just Dallas was a really, really strong team. Looking ahead, William Nylander wants out. He's going anyway. Ekblad's going to be leaving. Don't know about Darnell Nurse. A lot of other players are willing to come back. Nylander's the one that wants out. Kosa's willing to come back. Dude, I cannot give Kosa a 6, 7, or 8 year deal. I can't. I just can't. That's too much, man. That is way too much for a goalie. Because the same thing will happen. It'll be Saros and Askarov with like... The only way I'd even consider doing it is if he didn't roll a no movement clause. There's no movement clause, you're golden. Could be worth the risk. Ekblad has to go no matter what. Nurse wants $7 million. Bye, Darnell. Not saying you weren't necessarily worth it. Then we got RFAs. Well, the $1 million question. If we were to sign Sebastian Casa to a 7-year deal, which would bring him to age 35, would he have a no movement clause? Obviously, I could negotiate the price from there, but he'd still be in no movement clause territory no matter what. How many years would the no movement clause be? Five years. 5 years of 6 or 7. I'm going to have to think about it. We'll consider it based off of what else might happen at the draft. But yeah, odds are he's gone. That is just too damn hefty of a contract. The Dallas Stars have won the Stanley Cup. So for those that always feel better if you lose to the eventual cup winner, there you go. Chicago Wolves have won the Calder Cup. So Dallas gets it done. The Dallas Stars beating the Leafs in 7. So Marner, Matthews fell a little bit short. And again, 4 of the last 5 cups have gone to Western Conference teams. Connor Bedard won his 4th straight Art Ross trophy, his 3rd straight Hart. Bouchard wins the Norris. Bedard wins 4 out of the last 5 Bings. Chuko won the Calder with a 40-goal season as a rookie. Jason Robertson wins the Conn Smythe. Drew Comesso, the Vezina. Jack Adams, Edmonton's coach. Will Smith wins consecutive Selkies. Connor Bedard now 3 straight Ted Lindsay Awards and 4 straight Rocket Richards. In the AHL, do we have any familiar names? Not at this point. That Bang guy we remember. Jacob Holmes, I think it is, Defenseman of the Year. Gabriel Daig won Goalie of the Year. Last time he won it, he was within our organization. And a dude named Lacerte was the MVP of the Calder Cup playoffs for the Chicago Wolves. So here's the big issue with this upcoming draft. You might say, hey, move Brady Tkachuk, and then you could, get a top 5 pick. Again, our punishment for Brady Tkachuk not scoring 45 goals is that our top 2 picks have to be used on the largest and the smallest centers available in the draft. This is going to be a complete waste of a draft, essentially, at the high end for us. There's no reason for us to trade into the first round. 0. So, let's see what happens here next. The next chapter, the next twist of the tale. As the Detroit Red Wings have won the draft lottery, they move up from 4 to 1. Again, our first round pick as well belongs to the Seattle Kraken. Retired players. Jeff Skinner, Philip Forsberg. I believe, of course, we are still on the hook for Forsberg for about another 6 years, 7 years. Burakovsky retires. Well, that eliminates that conversation about Andre Burakovsky. Taylor Hall, Jake Gensel, a lot of familiar names, have called it a career in 2031. Alex Barabanov as well. Defensively, Morgan Riley, Shea Theodore, John Klingberg leading the way. Seth Jones retired as a Leaf, not winning the cup. All right. And in goal, Connor Hellebuck, Jordan Binnington, Chris Driedger, the winningest. Carl Vejmelka also won over 100 games in his career. But again, our departures, at the very least, it is Burakovsky, and he is the only departure. Let's see, does anyone become a coach? No, they did not. So we have a straight shot to the draft. This will be an interesting one. Nobody in the top 3 wants to move their picks. And this is the year that there's a franchise player at the top for the very first time, if I'm not mistaken. Nick Lindros is going to be a Red Wing. There's also not a single center available in the top 5. Replacement for Brady, I can't get him. Again, my first 2 picks have to be on the tallest and shortest center. For the record, the tallest center is either Wesley Gilbert or Sawyer Franzen. The shortest, we got a couple at 5'8". I mean, this dude's projected 39th, Lawrence McCardle, I do believe. Of course, it was Kendall McCardle, formerly of the Florida Panthers, Winnipeg Jets. So, I mean, that's definitely our target in terms of the shortest center. Tallest center, we're boned. It's going to be a way off the board pick. So McCardle at 39 is the first real pick that we can make. So he's our target. In terms of value, the good thing is McCardle should be on the board as we have pick number 34 from the Coyotes. So that could work out decently. In terms of goalies, again, I don't know what I'm going to do with Kosa. We do have Jackson Like in the system. See what happens from there. Defensively, in terms of trade value, there was the conversation about moving Damian Rawlings. He does have the abilities, but he is not going to turn in to an elite player. He's going to be a solid third pair, maybe low-end second-line guy. If we can get something decent for him, we should. The 19th overall pick, but that'd be a complete waste. We can't take that trade anyway. Again, we're not allowed to get 2 picks back in the same trade. And right now, I mean, we'd be looking at Gronz, Jared McCann in a 3rd. God, 23rd overall. I mean, this would be a great time to trade Rawlings, but in terms of what's out there, we can't do much with the offers. Riley in the 54th pick. Yep. Bettman, you are correct. Back-to-back centers does eliminate our free pick. We could bring back Luke Evangelista after all this time, as Detroit makes the Lindros pick official. I completely agree with the idea of trading Rawlings. It just doesn't look like now is the right time. Panarin and Schmaltz are both ancient. Can't do the Nyes trade. Boyko and Teverberg. This just doesn't look like the right time. He is worth a first-round pick. If we just wait, he'll be an RFA. Yeah, now it's just not the right time to trade him. But it's not a bad idea. Same idea with Adams. Although nobody wants him. Damn. What about Safronov? He's in that same category. Rene in a third. Ancient Artemi Panarin. Joel Blomqvist in goal. But again, we might keep Kosa. Cole in a third. There's not a great option. Kang in a fifth. I mean, I don't know how good that Kang guy is, but he in a fifth. There's Evangelista and Winchester. But again, we had Luke Evangelista here before. Did not work out too well. Riley in a third. Wolf in a third next year. Who is this guy? Bjorn Wolf. Big boy center, too. 6'5". Was a third-round pick. I mean, apparently he's only a 65 overall. His free falling uses the Melnick, which pretty much guarantees I'm not trading anybody now. So, thanks for shutting off access to trading. Probably trading down or trading up. That's great. Thank you for that. Appreciate it. Oh, Johansson. I mean, it's limited as to what I could even do for him anyway. And if we even wanted to trade Brady Tkachuk, the 6th overall pick, but I can't bargain use it on anyone who's actually worth it. Oh, this punishment for the season sucks. Again, but the idea is if he accomplished the goal, we wouldn't want to trade him. But now the negative, I can't trade him. At least not for this. It's not worth it for us right now. Oh my god. Oh my god. No. Oh my god. Look at this fucking guy's shooting category. Why do they want to trade him? I can't do it anyway. That's not how it works. Why do they want to trade this guy? Is he not actually that good? Are we getting debated? Can I trade for him regardless? I'm not allowed to trade Svechnikov, and I'm definitely not trading Korhonen. Jesus. I mean, I could waste the pick, technically. The problem with that is there were 2 trade offers, were there not? So I don't even know if I could do it. No, it's the only offer. Jesus. Trade Brady Tkachuk to get this guy. We get the 6th pick and then trade down. That leaves all of our call-ups and send-downs immediately. The one concern I have with DeMore, it's showing him as a top-line player. We might have to make a decision between he and Korhonen later on. You know? Brady Tkachuk. Have fun in Los Angeles. We're going to do it. And now... Again, hopefully it's not a mistake. And now we have to shop the 6th, meaning later on we will not be able to call up or to trade up or trade down. Just our picks are our picks. Oh my god, I can't trade it. I can't trade it. And that was the worst case scenario. And that's why I didn't want to do it. We gotta find a way. We gotta find a way to trade this pick. This could be a disaster. We might be about to waste the 6th overall pick. Troy Terry in a 7th. I'm gonna have to trade the 6th overall pick for Troy Terry. Or an expiring Patrick Laine. I can't guarantee Laine would want to sign here, though, is the problem. That's the problem when you acquire pending UFAs. They can just be like, I'm out of here. But I'd rather risk it on him than for sure have Troy Terry. So, it is Tkachuk. Tkachuk is out. The 6th overall pick is out. There was a 7th round pick swap. But we end up with this crazy young talented guy in Patrik Laine. And again, I am now no longer allowed to trade up or down in the rest of this draft. Our picks are our picks. Jesus. All right. So we got to pick number 34. We have to take either the tallest center or the shortest center. And we do know that Lawrence McArdle is tied as the shortest center. So we're going to take him. Our next pick has to be for the tallest center. And I'm no longer allowed to trade down, meaning I do have to waste a 2nd round pick on a complete scrub. But it's better than the 6th overall pick. The tallest center is either Gilbert or Sawyer Franzen. I can take these guys off the list now. And let's go for Gilbert, I guess. He put up some points in the dub. He's going to be terrible. So there we go. That is our punishment for Brady Tkachuk not scoring 45 goals this year. And yes, at the same time, those are 2 centers taken, so we do no longer have our free space to use in this draft. So it's a left wing, a right wing, a left D, a right D, and you guessed it, a goalie. And again, we're not allowed to trade up or trade down, but yeah. Big deal. Brady Tkachuk is gone. Patrik Laine, at least momentarily, is in. And again, I'm not allowed to scroll up. I am allowed to resort. Well, what do we have here? Roger Georgievich. 4 years out. What about by scout rank? A couple other options. The Finns have served us well. Timo Hartikainen, not Tamo Hartikainen, former Oiler. Anthony Robinson is an overager. Yeah, the pick options aren't great. Pick options aren't great. Richard Kubos is 4 years out. Donald's 4 years out. Artem Samsonov is a gigantic player. Georgievich didn't do much. Has leadership ability. Lord knows we need some of that. And Hartikainen doesn't have too much going on for him. 22 goals for Robinson, but he's 4 years out. Let's go for Roger Georgievich, and he will be. Let's not actually. Let's try to predict something here a little bit later on. Good players. I'm not allowed to take any of them right now. There is an alleged high elite goalie. He won't be available to us at that point, but it would be nice. When the hell's our next pick after this? 70. Oh my god, that goalie might be available. So that goalie could be available at 77. Hines won't really be available. I think if we take the right wing, we'll be okay. This is what it's looking like. I don't think there's a slam dunk in a different position. So yeah, we'll go for the right wing. Roger Georgievich, your favorite Norwegian. And our second pick of the 3rd round, 77th. Robinson, Hartikainen are there. That goalie's not there. And again, we can't trade down, and I can't take Hartikainen, even if I wanted to. I can't take Robinson now either, so it's like Lampman or Samsonov. Or Samsonov. I preferred when it was Samsonov. I was a Bruins fan. Yeah, this isn't great. It's got to be Artem Samsonov. At least he's At least he's gigantic. But yeah, we just missed out on that goalie. Again, that's the risk of trading Brady Tkachuk. Pick number 4, or round number 4, pick number 20. Not looking great for options here, is it? Sort by a scout rank, it doesn't get any better. There's a left wing, Carl Duff, but he's an overager. Yeah, this draft is not going well. Not going well. We need a right D, a left wing, or a goalie. Yikes. Yikes. We'll take the Canadian Josh Volk. I don't expect him to be anything, but again, beggars can't be choosers right now. Go to pick number 153 towards the end of the 5th round. Goalie and left wing is all we can take right now. There is a goalie in Kevin Hartnell. Left wing, there is Turikov, but there is also Tommy Koskiranta. Another Koskiranta. Let's take the other Koskiranta. So we got to take a goalie. No, we don't. That's right. We traded our 7th. That's fine. We didn't need a goalie in this draft anyway. So the big news. The big news is the big old trade at the start of the day. Brady Tkachuk to LA for Francois D'Amour and the 6th overall pick, and the 6th pick to Nashville for Patrick Laine. So essentially, indeed, Tkachuk and a 7th for D'Amour and Laine. 45 goals seemed like a stretch. Well, again, you have to remember we were able to optimize his X factors and give him every shooting ability on Earth, and it still didn't matter. All things considered, I don't feel like that draft was that bad. I mean, obviously the second round pick was pretty rough. Thank God we didn't get stuck with that 6th overall pick. But Brady Tkachuk making $12.5 million. I mean, he's a 30-goal guy, but I think we kind of discovered he wasn't the guy. Oh my God, Laine still has a year left. I didn't think he did. Okay, so we avoid that problem. D'Amour doesn't want to sign, but he's an RFA, so we're okay there. We're okay. So, goalie-wise, Casa, I don't know yet. We got a shat load of goalies. All right, that's a whole mess. Defensively, we know Aaron Ekblad has to go due to the punishment mid-season. So, Ekblad is gone. Laine might have signed an extension before he was traded. And he did. 3 years at 7.4. We actually got a deal on Laine. He did sign an extension. We just didn't notice. So I don't know about Darnell Nurse. Does he still want $7 million? Yeah, he does. I probably can't give him that. Bonks and RFA, Rawlings, Safronov. So yeah, we lucked out pretty well with that Laine deal. God, there's some big contracts that we have to make a decision on. We know William Nylander's leaving. He doesn't want to stay, so he has to be granted his release. D'Amour, of course, is allowed to be qualified. Again, if they don't want to come back as a UFA, that's when we're in trouble. Lindholm's deal's up, but he wasn't overly impressive. And then Ness is ready for his ELC. We could afford Nurse, it's just, is it worth it? And the big question is Sebastian Casa. Oh, God. Again, would get a 5-year no-movement clause. So either the entire duration of the contract, I can't do it. I can't commit that much money to a goalie, can I? The problem is he was really solid in the playoffs. More so in the first round. The second round, he was just kind of okay. But he has historically been a good playoff performer. Regular season, he's a little bit hit or miss. The problem is, if we sign Casa, we're basically telling Jackson, like, you're getting traded. Which isn't inherently a bad thing. But it also might not be a good thing. Potential goalies on the market. There was another guy named Brewer, but he's going to be an RFA. Outside of that, we'd be bouncing between veterans to try to save the day. A couple of RFA goalies, but yeah, for the most part, it would be vets to try and lock things down. Even former Pred Carson B. Arneson. Emperor, what's going on? Well, we do know at his age, 25 years old, Emil Vinny, we're going to drop him. Clear some room for goalies. We have to sign Jackson Lake. That just has to happen. He has to sign his ELC. From there, it's a bit of a toss-up. Technically, those could be the 6. Laakkonen is a low fringe 6th-round pick in 2029, so he's not going to be signed. How goes the loony bin save anyway? I mean, we made the playoffs a couple times. Never close to the cup final. 5-year no movement clause for Casa. Out of 5 or 6 years, that's just so much. And it didn't work with Saros. Oh, man. He has been an awesome playoff performer, though. We do have about $60 million in cap space. I did look at potential free agent targets, Crash. Just to clear out some space, the likes of Fairbrother, Bryson, the depth guys we always sign, can let go of them. Even Smith for now, they'll probably come back. Retained salary is at 0, but buyout penalty next to it is not. No reason to lose Bonk for nothing, or Rawlings, or Safronov. We can let go of Morelli. Bring him back later. No reason to let go of Zaitsev. Again, we will keep Luke Prokop around in the AHL as captain. Can keep Pekka for the hell of it. Got to sign Adams to his ELC. Legwand can be signed to his ELC. Thoughts on Madden in their franchise mode. I mean, even if it was subpar, I would still play it because it's fun for what it is, even if it's not amazing. So I'm excited for it. Honestly, this Fane guy sucks, but just keep him. So yeah, the big decision there is Darnell Nurse. Just like the big decision in goal is Casa. We're going to qualify the 3 RFAs. On the wing, Sanchez we can keep after he got the ability. Racine's not going anywhere. Georgievich, Johansson are there. On the left wing side, Florian Jacki, I think, earned another go-around here, so it wouldn't be a no trade or a no movement. I will try to drop that down just a little bit. That'd be a pretty nifty deal. We'll keep Ulanoff. Bennett, that overager that we drafted before, he's actually looking decent. It's a good starting overall. I mean, he's 21, but he scored 55 goals for Everett last year. Jesus. Yeah, Blake Bennett, the overager we drafted, looking pretty good. Ekman. Normally I wouldn't sign low 6 forwards, but why not? Can play in the AHL. There's a low 9 Jody Sweat that we picked up from Florida. That guy's not very good. We're going to drop him. Good old Alcock. The monster, Marcos Alcock. Not going to sign him, though. You guys keep freaking bringing in the he-bigs, but none of them are good. Albert Neuendijk was a 7th-round pick of the Jets. He was a tack-on in a trade. He looks like he's absolutely tragic, so we won't sign him. Isn't that Stephanie from Crash? What the hell are you talking about? Are you drunk? Jody Sweat. That's Jody Sweeten. How dare you? Elias Lindholm. You were absolutely shit in the playoffs. Is it worth keeping you around instead of losing you for nothing? The answer is probably yes. Probably, because it's not like Garlock and Mooney are insane. I'll think about it. Nick Ness definitely gets signed. We'll keep Svitov around. He had a good season. Carey Terrence, honestly, wasn't that bad either. Nolan Burke, I don't mind keeping around. Maybe not for that much money. Willis, I think we can finally move on from Willis. Subban, can hold on to you. All right, so we do have some deals that we have to sort out here. Ness signs, like Jack-I rejected that first deal. And a lot of players sign their ELCs. 5-year no movement clause for Casa. Like, at that point, he is just our goalie. Like, that's it. He's the guy. Which means, like, should get traded while his value is still high. Because Casa's the guy. It's either that or, like I said, we go with veteran goalies until Like is ready, and then Like is the guy. And at least that way we'll save a lot of money on goaltending, which appears to be a bit of a crapshoot anyway. Darnell Nurse wants like $7 million for the year. Yeah. Darnell Nurse, would you have a no movement clause? It's gonna be you old flip a coin. Heads is yes, tails is no. Darnell Nurse would have a no movement clause. He'd be here for the entire season. There's nothing we could do. He would just be on the club. But given what our left side looks like now, I think I have to do it. So even if the team is bad, Darnell Nurse has the full no movement clause. 1-year deal, $7 million. It didn't look like... I can't imagine free agency there'd be the money to spend. It's not so bad when it's a 1-year deal, you know. Florian, you know what? I'll give you what you're asking for if you're willing to take it. And then at center, Elias Lindholm's a tough one, man. I can't justify paying Burke $2.3 million. So Nolan, you've been here for a long time. You were undrafted. You've played 234 NHL games for us, but I can't, in good faith, pay you $2.3 million, even if it is for the year. I need that money in free agency. So we are going to say goodbye to Nolan Burke. I am going to try to keep Lindholm, who would be in no trade clause territory. So heads is yes to a no trade clause. Tails is no. Son of a bitch. So it would be a 3 and a 23. A 21 team no trade clause for Lindholm if we keep him. Jesus. Which means he couldn't be traded to any of the teams at the deadline who are in the, reverse order standings, the bottom 21. Which means he could only get traded to a top 10 team. He's not worth it either. He's not. Elias, I'm sorry, it's not going to happen. Darnell Nurse is worth it. I mean, then again, the point, he was terrible in the playoffs. But he was on a 52-point pace on the team. Fuck it. Let's see if he takes it. He rejected $4 million. Nurse rejected 7. Jack-I signs. Are you kidding me? $11 million combined, and they just rejected it. That's kind of crazy. Pending defense. Ooh, David Yarosek and David Reinbacher are both on the open market. As are quite a few first-line players, apparently. This is a tough call. Oh, Darnell. I can't give you too much more than that. And Lindholm, I can't give you too much more than that. Sebastian Casa. You're our guy. I'm willing to do it. 5 years of a full no movement clause at what will now be $8.5 million because Smoot uses overpay. Fuck. I'm going to wait on that deal then. And let's hope Darnell Nurse doesn't accept that deal. Lindholm signs and fuck. Well, now if we want to sign Casa, it's got to be for an overpay. $5 years, $8.5, full no movement clause for Casa. He's probably gone. He's probably gone at that point. Yeah, it doesn't really feel impossible to get a goalie who can put up a half-decent percentage, you know? We're going to say goodbye to Sebastian Casa. But Lindholm and Nurse are here for the season, just so we don't lose some depth. As some qualifying offers come through. But yeah, we're going to say goodbye to Sebastian Casa because of that overpay. And the big question, what big names are on the free agent list? Because again, we're in a position to stay competitive. We got a lot of cap space available, $47.5 million. I kind of feel like we should have gone for Casa, and we still can. I mean, Laine's here. Someone like Rawlings might get traded. DeMore is still an RFA. It's going to be a really weird free agency period.